Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
When choosing a dentist for our family, Tupelo Smiles was the answer for us. They greet us with warm smiles right when we walk in the door, and they make us feel so welcome. We love Tupelo Smiles.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 6.
Part 2. I have the chat open just in case. And of course, my wife watching behind the scenes. And okay, she says good to go. I think that means we are solid. What can I say? You know, technology wanting to take a rest day. Even the Lord said Sunday is the day of rest. So I guess computers follow suit. They were listening to the scripture this morning, and I guess we should too. But either way, if you're taking a break or heading out and about this evening, it is going to be a good-looking forecast. If you can handle a few of those scattered showers working their way through the region, that's the first of many headlines here in the Room to Room Weather Center. Those scattered showers building across North Mississippi and will continue to remain overhead as we get into those overnight hours. And Monday, staying gloomy, but this is a big part of the forecast. It's staying dry, so don't be fooled by any of that cloud cover. No rainfall going to be attached to it. Those dry conditions dominating all week long, so any of those things that you need to get done outside that you may have put off last week because of those soggy conditions, looking like a good forecast for it. But first, we got to start with the first 12, and it's not exactly ideal forecast for getting out and about. 40% coverage, so there will be some hit or miss areas, but that coverage, of course, building by that 7 o'clock hour and continuing by 10 o'clock before those chances taper away by 1 and really into the start of our Monday. Yes, you see 10% chances there. I debated on even putting that there because those showers so light, so non-impactful that it's going to be like you barely notice it, and it's only going to be for that much of us here in North Mississippi. Temperature-wise, you can see dropping to the upper 30s, so a cold forecast, but could definitely be worse if this was a drier and clearer forecast. So this doom and gloom, I know there's no doom with it, but the gloom that we're seeing acting as a blanket and trapping that heat, not allowing us to cool off too much. So currently in Clarksdale, 49 degrees, those northerly winds adding that drying component. That's of course 11 miles an hour. But you can see those light to moderate showers working their way through northwest Mississippi in the Clarksdale area. And as we continue that coverage down there close to the Greenville area, 52 degrees, and you see that blanket of cloud cover across the sky. Some moderate showers expected with that. Not out of the question to get a few of those heavier portions as well, but not expecting a stormy night, not even close to a strong stormy night. I mean, it's just going to be those typical rainy days, a rainy Sunday. And you've heard me say it before, this is the ideal sleeping forecast. So for anyone who's taking a late Sunday nap or heading to bed a little bit early, well, then you're seeing ideal conditions for it. Pontotoc just starting to get some of those light showers moving into the southwest part of the county. 46 degrees, dew points at 43. So still that saturated atmosphere in place. But again, it's more dry out here on the east side of the area than compared to out west. You can see on our Mississippi Live Weather Radar how this is built. And we'll take it over the past 3 hours. Just a few dry, isolated showers working through Clarksdale and Shelby around the 3 o'clock hour. And as we head further into our afternoon, those gradually building east into Yalobusha, Lafayette, even towards Calhoun, Pontotoc, Chickasaw, and potentially, fingers crossed, Lee County, because I know that we'll take any rainfall that we can get. And this area where the showers are continuing to pop up, the area is still under a level 3 drought. So hoping that we get to continue to enjoy some of those showers to knock off some of those drought conditions. Even looking out of the Memphis radar site, some more of those showers developing towards the eastern portion of Arkansas, that building across the river and giving us more scattered chances overnight and until the drier air kicks in for the start of our Monday. But let's look at totals. And I told you guys this was not going to be anything too heavy. Yes, you are saying that correctly. As much as 1/10 of an inch across North Mississippi as those heaviest portions work their way through. But heavy is not a good term for this because there's nothing heavy about this. A lot of this is just going to be those light to moderate showers, not really kicking out those high outputs, but the potential to at least turn those windshield wipers on setting number 2. That's really what we're dealing with into our evening hours. And even out of the Monroe County radar site, still getting around 1/10 of an inch, so that's pretty uniform across the board. And maybe adding another 1/10 of an inch into those overnight hours, but those chances a little bit higher than what those outputs are really showing. That's where I don't want you to look at chances and think this is going to be a washout completely overnight. those showers not going to be nearly impactful as what a stormy day might be. And we'll assess that here coming up in a few moments. Let's jump to surface analysis, and we'll just expand this out here real quick to take a look of why this is all happening. So we have this cold front that has pushed across the region, but we are still getting some of that moisture building in back behind it, and that's where we get this, I call it a mass of showers and storms that are working their way through. The stormy weather primarily going to be down south around the coastal regions. You can see those developing right there, more isolated in nature, but then we're getting some of the lighter portions further up there towards the north, and that's going to be Tupelo all the way out there towards Little Rock, and that's not going to be anything too significant. Again, a few tenths possible, but that's really the impacts that we'll see here in North Mississippi. You can see how this is just a forecast, a front that has several different stories with the showers on the southern end of the front, and then a pretty decent snowfall output. If you're watching the Buffalo game, which I know our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut was of course watching that, dealing with some lake effect snow as well as just regular snow working their way through the Buffalo, New York area, and some high outputs up there. So watching the Bills may have come at a cost today, but I know they weren't complaining. A pretty good game up there as they took on the Bengals. All right, these showers working their way through the region overnight. I'm going to zoom it back in here to the southeast portion of the United States to get you a visual. Of course, some heavy portions not out of the question as we get into that 10 o'clock hour, but those working their way through, and by 2 a.m. already seeing some drier conditions in place. Then we get these light showers that try to develop on the back end of that frontal system, but even then I'm not overly sold on those chances being too significant, but I'm not ruling out a sprinkler or two as we get into that 6 o'clock commute. So waking up early, may have to turn the windshield wipers on, but if we're talking about settings, it's definitely the first setting, or maybe just like toggling it on every now and then. But yeah, not anything too impactful. So not a bad start to the work week ahead, but the gloomy conditions still in place with that cloud cover. That should not come as a surprise. I mean, we're just transitioning out of a soggy forecast and into a drier pattern. So 10% around 6 a.m., but drying up as the day goes on. Those gloomy conditions blanket the sky, so how it feels at 6 a.m., pretty much uniform across the board, only up to 47 degrees by 3 p.m., so have those long sleeves on all day long to accommodate for this as we work out the doom and gloom and enjoy the dry and sunny forecast ahead. Of course, coming up here in the next 60, we'll talk about that extended forecast and what to expect. We're also talking about some potentially extreme cold heading into the end of next week. That as we assess that planner moving forward, not just the 7 days, but we're looking at that extended forecast. And we'll, of course, take a look at what to expect with these rain chances moving forward coming up here in the Room to Room Weather Center for Mississippi Live Weather at 6. Here in the next 60. I clicked off of it. Give me 1 second.
Enjoy your home for the holidays with store-wide savings at Room to Room. 50% off, 48-month special financing, and as our gift to you, a free accessory buyer's card. There's something here for everyone, including gift cards. Merry Christmas from Room to Room Tupelo.
People tell me how lucky my daughter is to have been adopted. But really, we're the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays. Ready!
We don't have time for spills. Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, parades so far have been good to go today. Any this evening, which I don't know if there are, I got to look back at the list, but any this evening may need the rain gear planned with it. But throughout this week, and we're going to be attending a lot of these parades across North Mississippi. Again, a big thank you to MLM for allowing us to do so. But as we go out and enjoy those parades, and you guys do the same, looking like a pretty dry pattern. We'll get into that here in just a moment. And I know the story of dry not exactly being told tonight. Cleveland at 52 degrees right now, and you can see the rain on the lens of the camera. Big shout shout out to the North Mississippi Storm Chasers allowing us those aerial views of the city. Of course, Cleveland, always a great shot because you have the flag blowing in the distance along with those downtown lights. But yeah, soggy one tonight. So anyone heading out there in Northwest Mississippi dealing with these showers, and these will continue to linger even into those overnight hours. Now, Oxford, a little bit harder to tell on this camera lens, but trust me, there are showers working their way through Lafayette County. 46 degrees, and you can really tell that moist environment with 45-degree dew points right overhead. So whenever those two numbers, temperature and dew point, are equal, shows you that the moisture is there for sure. So that's why we're getting those showers. Again, just that saturated environment, and we expect that to continue to remain in place into those overnight hours as we gradually clear up and gradually dry up into the rest of our work week. 46 degrees in Starkville. As you can see, dew points right around that same margin. Not going to be out of the question to get a few showers down there in the Golden Triangle area, but that's as those showers start west, work their way east, and so we'll see that all the way across North Mississippi. But Starkville, finally a calm day, if you can say it's a calm day, there in Stark, Vegas, but dealing with those state championships all week long, some great matchups, some unfortunate endings. It's just a heartbreaker what happened last night, but we're still proud of all of our North Mississippi teams. They definitely showed some fight, did not go down without it, and hey, next year we're shaping up for another great year of high school football here at Mississippi Live Weather, but all across North Mississippi, and a big thank you to everybody who made that journey possible. All right, let's go ahead and take this forecast into our radar mode. Mississippi Live Weather having these showers work their way through the North Mississippi area, and as we put a loop on this, bear with me behind the scenes while I drag that over, you can see over the past hour how these have steadily built into Calhoun County and now for portions of Chickasaw County. Those outputs not high, but we have that nose leading right into Monroe County, almost acting as an arrow of the direction as it progresses further towards the east. So here in Tupelo, folks in Booneville, folks in Corinth, be patient. Your time will come, and those showers will get there at some point. Now let's go ahead and change it over to our Memphis radar site to provide a visual on some of these storms up on the north side, because a lot of the times when we're looking out of Monroe County, it gets to be a little bit more elevated the further away from the site we get. And so Memphis, not having a lot of this reaching the ground, but as we get a little bit of a northerly component to that movement, potentially building north, and for folks in Prentiss and Alcorn County, maybe getting those chances earlier. But beyond that, we do have chances back there towards Arkansas that'll work their way into North Mississippi, hopefully giving you guys a few drops on the far northern portions of North Mississippi. Let's keep that going with our, I know it says severe weather threat, not tracking any severe weather with this setup, but that's what I wanted to show you is at most we'll get some heavy rainfall. You're seeing the heaviest outputs there towards Calhoun County, around Bruce, Water Valley, and Grenada with Grenada County and Yalobusha County. But if we highlight this in, and I'm going to put our dropper right here to show some of those rates, we're talking 3/4 of an inch an hour. Yeah, not heavy whatsoever, so don't need to worry about any of those, especially no hail either. And thank you to the folks at True Shield Roofing for partnering with us on this. Always a reassuring sight whenever we can pull up this graphic and not have anything to track. And so, yeah, don't need to worry about those hail pictures today. I think we're solid on tonight's rain chances, but definitely keep an eye out moving forward. Now, another thing that proves that is our cloud tops. And as you can see right here, 10,000, 20,000 feet expected with these showers. So that tells us it's not exactly a stormy setup. There's not a ton of lift in the atmosphere. So this is not going to produce stormy conditions. This isn't going to be severe or strong conditions. This is just going to be that rainy Sunday afternoon and evening that, again, I'll say it, it's perfect for sleeping. So if you want to head to bed early, don't blame me there. Rain chance hour by hour, we peak right there. I don't know why it says 0, but should say up to about 40% there by 7, 50 by 8 and 9, 40 by 10 and 11. We're on that stair climb down all the way to 10 to basically 0% chance by the early AM hours, and those will gradually work their way out into the start of our Monday, despite that cloud cover still remaining in place. Futurecast does show exactly that. You can see how these have gradually moved in. I do want to note, Futurecast needs to step up its game because it's not lining up with how we'd like it. So a lot of these chances actually a bit ahead. As we saw in our radar mode, we're all the way into Calhoun County, and Futurecast, even an hour ahead, still lagging way behind. So I want to say position this I would say an hour ahead of where these things currently sit. So this is probably about, let's see, this would be hour behind on Futurecast. So this would be about 9 p.m. on your Sunday, and those, of course, continue to work their way through into those late p.m. hours all the way across the eastern portion of our viewing area, and then some light showers remaining on the back side of this, especially around the Tennessee state line. You can see how some of this moisture works its way back into the forecast, but those chances very minimal, because even the outputs that are happening, this is very light, and so this is not going to be an impactful rainfall. We continue to stay on the mostly dry side for the early AM hours of our Monday. Now, Sunday night, you can see right here how those chances and those totals build into the area. And what is the consistency here? Couple hundredths, maybe up to a tenth of an inch being added to what we've already seen. And so this is not impactful. I'm going to say it over and over again to really send that message. So don't expect an extreme soaking overnight. I do see a few locations showing about a quarter of an inch. Not an impossibility, but those rain chances and those rain outputs need to be lifted just a bit before that becomes a realistic possibility. And as we get further into the start of our Monday, you can see maybe an extra hundredth being added to that forecast, but not going to be anything too noteworthy whenever it comes to those totals. So with the the gloomy conditions overnight, those temperatures going to be starting off a little bit warmer than what they should. And I know you're looking at upper 30s and saying, Gabe, warmer? What I mean is, if it was dry, if it was clear, we could be looking at low 30s, potentially upper 20s. But because there's all that cloud cover trapping that heat, those temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s with Red Bay and Boonville around 37, 36 Water Valley and Oxford, 39 Grenada, and even some 40s showing up Greenville, Greenwood, and Louisville and Macon. So folks heading out and about should be a good commute if you can handle some of those gloomy skies. But those wind chills, you did see those winds coming out of the north about 5 to 10 miles an hour, could drop those a couple of degrees, and then you're looking at some feels like values around freezing. But that's really the one note with this forecast. And if you see a 30 as the front number, just make sure to layer up. At the end of the day, if it's at freezing or even if it's at 39 degrees, it's going to be cold, and we want to make sure that everyone is taken care of. 47 by drop-off shows that cloud cover not allowing our temperatures to warm up through the day, going to be pretty consistent from morning to the afternoon. And we'll see that right here on Futurecast. You can see those showers, the last of those are working their way out of the region, and then we're left with mostly cloudy skies into the rest of our Monday. So dry conditions, don't let the cloud cover fool you. And if you're looking to make any lunch plans, potentially taking them outside, if you can handle the cold, going to be a dry one at that. And those dry conditions continue into the afternoon as well, working their way into our Monday evening, where we have an abundance when it comes to Christmas parades, just to name a few. I know Boonville is tomorrow. I know Starkville is tomorrow. West Point, I believe, is tomorrow. And that's just off the top of my head. And I know there's way more across the area. Hopefully getting that list together by 10, and we'll let you guys know where those parades are. But that's all across North Mississippi. So you guys should go to a Christmas parade tomorrow evening. Should be a good forecast for it, as long as you can handle a little bit of those cold temperatures. And what you see on the back side of this, that cloud cover working its way out, and then drier, clear skies moving in place. So high temperatures, they're not going to be warm whatsoever by Monday afternoon, as that cloud cover still remains by our afternoon time frames. 49 Houston, 46 New Albany, 50 Kosciuszko, and 48 there towards Grenada and Water Valley. But if we keep that going, you can see how quickly those skies clear by 8 p.m. We're dealing with mostly clear skies. Those winds coming out of the north just a bit by about 5 miles an hour. And if we expand this out, you can see high pressure right overhead, giving us this dry forecast and wrapping around some of those northerly winds. So another cold start for the start of our Tuesday, a much colder start than what it will be tomorrow morning. So have those layers, and honestly add an extra one to it. That's how cold we're talking about for the start of our Tuesday. But as that high pressure transitions further towards the east, we get those southerly winds back into the forecast, and that's going to allow those temperatures to warm up by the afternoon, but really warm up over the next several days beyond that Monday and Tuesday morning time frame. So by Tuesday afternoon, looking like a good forecast. Breezy conditions out of the south, and I know Pops would agree with me on this, that this is a good fishing forecast as well, if the fish haven't already gone into their sleep mode for winter. But yeah, this is the conditions you'd look for whenever you're going fishing in the summer. But as we keep that forecast into the 3 o'clock hour, you of course see those breezy conditions once again with clear skies. And as that cold front inches closer and closer, not going to impact our forecast for our Tuesday. So we're staying on the dry and clear side once again. And even as that cold front moves through late into our Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, may get a pop-up shower here and there, but not exactly having widespread rain chances like we usually see with cold fronts. This is a drier cold front that's moving on through. 50 in Boonville, same thing Iuka, 51 Hamilton, Alabama, 53 Aliceville there in Pickens County, 54 Belzona, 51 Cleveland, and 52 around Tunica. Still not even close to that normal that we'd expect this time of year, but we are gradually warming up into our Tuesday, and that warming trend continues into our Wednesday and Thursday. Now, forecasted rainfall, this is over the next 2 days, but I showed you this, and we already talked about rain totals. Watch how I transition this into the next 7, and nothing changes. That's how dry things will be. So once we clear out with these rain chances overnight, we will see a much drier pattern move in place, and we get to enjoy any of those outdoor plans that we've been putting off because of those soggy skies. 7 a.m., 39 degrees, 45 by noon, 47 towards the afternoon, still with that cloud cover remaining all day long. But as we keep that forecast going, 53 Tuesday, 59 by Wednesday. Woo! I mean, 60s could be a realistic possibility. 57 Thursday afternoon, and then we start to cool off once again with some extreme cold. And this is what we're going to talk about coming up here in just a moment. 21 degrees heading out the door Saturday morning. Sunday morning, 23. And those highs only getting into the low 40s with some areas not even exceeding the upper 30s. So do you have your layers? You may want to get them by next weekend because cold, and more cold will be moving in place. But luckily, dry conditions are in place as well, not tracking much in the form of rainfall. We'll look at that in full detail coming up here in the next 60, as well as those extreme cold temperatures and what we're expecting and who will get the worst of it coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 6 in the next 60.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and if you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
School, it feels like everyone's staring at me and I'm just kind of not really a person.
It just feels hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
And I'll try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundedouttogether.org.
I'm your retirement fear, but don't be scared. You're still in pre-retirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. This is pretirement.org.
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
Hate is loud, but love is the majority.
We'll look at those rain chances and those extreme cold temperatures moving in next week and here in just a moment, but we are keeping with our merry and bright Christmas light coverage, and we're going to start in Pontotoc with Amber's setup. Love all the floats outside the house and the Christmas lights. You have Olaf. Had a turtle growing up, so my heart has a special place for turtles. And then you have the candy cane lane looking like a great setup. So definitely head over to Pontotoc and view that great setup. And we had to include some of those indoor setups. And this is Amanda in Myrtle showcasing her Christmas tree. And I want to add, Christmas presents. Have you done your Christmas shopping yet? Manor household trying to work on it, but definitely Amanda putting me in my place and being like, we need to get things done. But love the ornaments as well. Saw a few family ornaments. So this is just cool because you get to see the history of every family on their tree. If they're like mine, we got an ornament every year growing up and then a family ornament to kind of, remember our family that year. And so we always have that on the tree, and we're adding to it with Annalise and I, and we have, I think 3 Christmases now. This is going to be the 3rd one. So, woo! Frankie and Ayuka submitting this picture, and this is of the Nativity. Had Mary, Joseph, baby Jesus, and everybody there in the manger setup. Just cool having the lights around it as well. And they did submit another picture. I couldn't put 2 on here just because of the settings, but there was another setup or picture showing the setup that had lights all the way down the fence line, lights around the porch as you can see in the background, but that is a good looking site over there in Ayuka. So thank you to Frankie for submitting that picture and showcasing that here on Mississippi Live Weather. All right, heading into next weekend, we are talking about extreme cold. This is going to be December 13th through December 17th. And so as we work into that forecast, you can see some cooler temperatures when we're looking at our 30-year average than what we have seen here recently. And we've already been seeing below average. This is below average taken to a new extreme. And as we expand things out, you can see that we're talking about extremely below average temperatures up there in the Northeast. So I hope that you're not making any plans to travel to New York City or Philadelphia or anything like that, because that is some cold that I don't want to ever touch in my lifetime. But down here in North Mississippi, we are still going to be cold, but already transitioning into December 15th through the 21st. We see those warmer temperatures or average temperatures move back into the forecast with warm temperatures on the horizon. Let's take it over the next 30. And as you can see, warm temperatures, above average temperatures back in the forecast there for Golden Triangle and further towards the south, and then building in more by the time we get into the next 3 months. And that's encompassing a good portion of our winter. And so that means temperature is going to be warmer during those winter months, but that's again, an overall average of the 3 months. We'll still have days where it's warm and days when it's cold, but whenever we factor all those days together, looking like it's going to be slightly above our normal average for this time of year. All right, let's go ahead and get into the precipitation outlook, which we were talking about extreme cold over there on the East Coast. Well, that same time frame, the 13th through the 17th, we have a dry pattern in place. That drier weather allows us to cool off way more. So whenever you see extremely cold temperatures and you're thinking, well, that's perfect for a snow forecast, not really, not here in North Mississippi, because we need that moisture to be in the forecast as well. And whenever moisture is added to the forecast, those temperatures end up being warmer. Take tonight, for an example. We're not cooling off nearly as much as we will Monday night into Tuesday, and the reason is there's moisture in the forecast. So that could look completely different. If we took all the moisture out tonight, we would be looking at like extremely cold temperatures once again. So the 13th through 17th, the dry forecast, and we continue that drier pattern into the 15th and the 21st. So and as we get into that Christmas season, not exactly shaping up for a white Christmas, but I don't think I put the new, some behind the scenes stuff. I don't believe that I put the new one in here. No, this should be the new one. I know I uploaded it. Sorry, I was technology in its full effect. All right, it's precipitation outlook over the next 30 days, slightly above that average mark over the next 30. And as we keep that going into the next 3 months, potentially above average there along the Tennessee state line, but still going to be right around average for the next 3 months. So meaning we'll get some rainfall here and there, but not going to be anything out of the ordinary, pretty consistent across the board. So day planner tonight, what will we be seeing? Rainy conditions. So there we go, already getting above that mark, 50% chance by 8, 40% there by 10, 30% by midnight, and we'll continue to drop those percentages off overnight. Same thing with those temperatures, but temperature's not going to be extremely cold. It's going to be bearable, but that wind chill adding another element, and that's where I feel like it becomes a little bit more miserable. So make sure to have those layers handy, stay on the warmer side and stay on the drier side as well. And we'll, of course, keep you updated on that forecast coming up at 10 o'clock tonight. Trying to see everyone's comments in the chat. Hello, everybody. Hopefully, I saw some people from around the area. We went up to Corinth yesterday, and it was so good getting to talk with so many of you guys out there in Corinth at the Christmas parade. Put on quite a show as well. I don't know how many floats were in there. I would argue triple digits because it was a great one. So many sights to see, so many great sounds as well with Christmas music. Even had some live vocals there. So thank you, Corinth, for having us. It was such a great time. And if you missed that parade, it is on Matt's Facebook page. You can search Matt Lawpon, go to his page. Should be the second or third post on there. So go scroll and it'll be worth your while. A pretty good show that they put on up there. And then Friday night, we were in Tupelo, so hoping to continue that parade coverage throughout this week. So if you want to be a part of that here on Mississippi Live Weather, well, all you have to do is download that app, and that app is readily available on iOS and Android. You can go ahead and download that at the bottom left and right of your screen. It is free. Do I need to say more? Free app, and it keeps you in the know about what's happening and weather-wise here in North Mississippi, and it keeps you weather-wise as well. And the best way to also stay weather-wise, have those layers of protection. Mississippi Live Weather app allows you to do so. Also have live shows. Our next one coming up at 10 o'clock tonight, but don't miss the morning show with meteorologist Maggie McCauley. I know she'll be tracking a shower or two during that morning commute, and she keeps you informed on what to expect for not just the day ahead, but the week ahead here in North Mississippi. We'll see you back here tonight at 10. You guys have a spectacular Sunday, and we'll see you back here soon.
The bravest thing that my dad has done has been going back to school.
It wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
The bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
You wonder how they're going to experience the real world in real safety, where all kids are welcome and everyone has a path forward to new skills, advancement, leadership, something they will carry with them the rest of their lives.